other planets right now. So this really is just about Venus in the sign of Pisces. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the chart, so I'm just going to put that down so I can focus on Venus. We did talk a lot about Mars and Saturn 2 days ago here. So, and also the nodal axis, the south and north node, which we don't really need to think about that anymore with Venus. Now it's more so just like what is unfolding as Venus moves into Pisces. And I just saw the whole month going. So let's go ahead, and what I'll cover is Venus, the sign of Pisces, and then moving Venus into Pisces. And then where is Venus on that 584-day journey right now? Because that always, it's like a subtlety to the Venus cycle. I feel like baseline is like knowing what Venus is. And that in itself, I feel like is very radical for us in this day and time because we are such a Mars based culture. We are so driven, motivated. We've been congratulated for our muscles and our athleticism and programmed to go out and do things. We don't really ever think like, oh, look how round and plump and voluptuous and relaxed and slow and steady. Like we don't usually like look at people and think that is amazing. We usually are like, wow, they're so motivated and they're so go-getter and taking the bull by the horns and all these like very Mars approaches to life. So connecting in with Venus, let me get into my Venus posture, which is basically anything that's comfortable, where you're not restricting blood flow in any areas. This is also that getting rid of your bra or your tight waistband or your, for me, it's often massaging my scalp and just getting comfortable in the body. All right, so Venus is our receptivity. A lot of what I have read about Venus from modern astrology has a lot of words that makes it seem like Venus is doing something. And from my understanding, doing something is going to be Mars saying something, thinking something. That's going to be Mercury building something, setting something up. That's going to be Saturn learning something. That's going to be more Jupiter. So a lot of the vocabulary that I have studied and read in my pursuit of understanding astrology doesn't seem like Venus to me. So when you think about receptivity, the yin and the yang, we know that yang is this outward, that's like when the wave comes out and crashes on the beach. This is a force that is impactful. It goes out and does something. Venus is that natural pull back in. So after we've exhaled, there is this, I don't know if I shared the video. I don't think I did. Jen, you're going to love it. I'll send it to you personally. I didn't share it because it's part of a class that I have. But basically the 5 pranas, I know that you're familiar with because I know you study yoga and Ayurveda and the philosophy of yoga. But there's 5 winds in the body. And the one that has to do with receiving breath, this is Venus. It really is just after that exhalation goes out and we're doing something with that. We're perceiving, we're moving energy from our body out into the world. That's Mars. then that natural, like just like when the wave crashes, it naturally resides, resides. I'm not sure what that word is actually. So it pulls back. And for us, Venus is that pullback. In Tantra Yoga, there is, when we talk about the Svadhisthana chakra, there is a place that says, she who draws the lingam forth. Every time I read that, this feeling of what is the power of receptivity, she who draws the lingam forth. To me, that feels like that power of allure, attraction, the ability to actually like pull something in. This is Venus. So wherever Venus is on your chart, first of all, Venus was in a certain phase of the 584-day cycle. Was Venus on the descent? And I have a really good book for you. I might run over there and grab it. It's called Descent of the Goddess, which is the story of Inanna going in to meet her sister Ereshkigal in the underworld, as sister's husband died, and Inanna wants to come visit, make sure everything's okay. On this descent, there are 7 gates that, the first, she removes her crown. Before she enters, her sister has told all the gatekeepers, don't let my sister in here carrying all that stuff. She must remove the crown. She must remove that lapis necklace. She must remove her staff. She must remove her breastplate. This is the place that we're in now. We're between that, we can call it the throat. We're between the throat and that breastplate in the Inanna journey right now with the Venus cycle. So whenever you were born, you were in some level of either the descent into the underworld. That underworld is going to be finalized when the 8th meeting of Venus and Moon. And then what ends up happening is the conjunction with the sun, which makes Venus invisible for 7 days. And this is when Inanna is in the underworld. It's such a mystery. Like in the book, it tells the things that happen in the underworld. It's basically where Inanna is hung. I don't know if I want to talk about this right now. Just because I'm watching you were born in the descent. Perfect. I'm so glad you know that. Did you get the book? So I'm watching my words on here because I don't want to get X'd from this platform also. So anyway, when Inanna's in the underworld, all these things happen. And basically Inanna has to meet a mentor, a guide, somebody who will be of assistance. And this is Mercury. So we're also going to see Mercury during this Venus cycle. No, just what we spoke. Perfect. Wonderful. That was enough. It's enough for now because I'm answering to Jen right now because we figured it. Okay. You will want to know eventually what phase of the Inanna. Were you in the descent phase? Were you born during the underworld phase when Sun and Venus were conjunct, therefore making Venus not visible in either evening or morning sky? Or were you born as Inanna is rising from the underworld? And you'll want to know that eventually. Also, there's one more thing, and Jen, I'm not sure if we did get to this part for you, but what was the overtone? So as we went through this last Venus cycle, and I love doing the daily astrology to just report on every little movement of what's happening. So basically for my own recollection of where we're at in these cycles, and then so I can start recording my science and my observation and see what is happening in the world. I feel like the old astrologers who I've had as teachers, this is what they've done, and they can go back in their mind and say, oh yeah, when Venus and Sun were conjunct in Capricorn during 2020 of 2001, and this thing came out and this thing happened. So you know what I mean, kind of gathering that. So that is going to tell you the beginning of the synodic cycle is the first spotting of Venus rising as a morning star or rising as an evening star. So the one that we're in now is the Capricorn overtone, meaning that Venus rose in the morning sky in the sign of Capricorn. This begins the synodic cycle, the next 584 days. So everything that we're going through related to receptivity and related to what we value collectively, how we're able to relax our nervous system, settle down, settle into our physical bodies, receive pleasure, receive the natural resources, the abundance of earth, the abundance from gathering in groups and having this relationship. This is all Venus's territory. And because it's Venus, it's a code that is written into our power of receptivity. It's a code, meaning that it's like it is the overtone to what we believe that we're worth, what we believe our values are. And most of our values are just given to us. Like our values, for the most part, are it's like when you're born into a certain set of circumstances, and the values are written into that genetic program. So right now, with Venus in Capricorn, it is really like bringing it back to tradition, the wisdom of our elders. Also, there's something about the elder archetype and the wisdom of people who are not quite older, but that wisdom that is in the genetic code really being brought up to the surface. Okay, so now we've had Venus go through Aquarius. Overtone is still in Capricorn, meaning that the overarching theme is going to be, what do I value? How does this support the next 7 generations? It's not all about you, it is all about us. So the Capricorn topics, now Venus moves into Aquarius. We notice more of the value of technology, the value of cryptocurrency, and so the topics are still going to be having an overarching theme of Capricorn with as Venus moves through the different signs of the zodiac with a tinge of that, the sign of that topic. So here we go now, getting into Venus in Pisces. Okay, so Pisces is water in the form of mist, meaning that water in Cancer is water in the form of the oceans. Water in our primordial waters has to do with procreation and that fertility water, the watery womb. Then we get to Scorpio, and it is water in the form of frozen ice. Water in the form of frozen ice. That is autumnal equinox. That is also where we are. It's after the autumnal equinox. It's that between place between autumn and winter. So it's like we're going down into the darkest phase, and it has to do with frozen emotions and anything that we have forgotten. So the forgotten waters are what really brings that emotional intensity that we know to be Scorpio. So Pisces, water in the form of mist, is this dispersed water. This is where we get mystical. where we have that water that is the whole sea of consciousness, the universal love threads that hold everything together. This is Pisces. Also, if you think about the time of the year, we have Mahashivaratri at every Pisces new moon. And this is celebrating that deep, dark time of the year where we're not quite in winter anymore and we're not quite in spring yet. So, and also you see that sign of the fish. My puppy is just relentlessly trying to bite my hand. Maybe we'll get a little puppy view in here. I gave him a shoe, so he's backing away now. So the sign of the two fish is like one fish in the underworld, or in that, if you know the story of Persephone going into the underworld and her mother, who has to strike up a compromise with the Lord of the underworld to have her daughter Persephone up for half the year on the earth and in the underworld for half the year. So Pisces is right there in between. So we have one foot in that deep mystical space of the underworld where it's dark and watery and confusing. And the things that I love about Pisces is that it's like looking at a thing, you instantly, and for me, it's a lot with my fingertips. So if I touch a thing, I get an instant download of the whole picture of that reality. And that Pisces power of being able to sort of like look at a wall and see the history of the wall and the people who built the wall and what's been going on. Like, it's this deep, mystical, watery version of reality that it's inclusive of everything, to the point where it's hard to delineate what is me and what is you. So was it India Ari? Brown skin. The brown skin song. This song, I feel it so much when I'm next to somebody with my same skin tone. It's really like, where do I begin and where do you end? That is the Pisces power of unified consciousness. Unified consciousness. It's so challenging for people to understand Pisces, especially if you don't have a lot of Pisces placements, because the way Pisces experiences reality is like there can be no mistakes because everything is perfect. Everything, like in the ocean, the fish who are feasting on the dead whale, that is perfect. The body that was found, that is also perfect. It's like there can be no mistakes in the universe. There's no mistakes. There is a pattern to everything. And for Pisces, having that unified field of consciousness, and I'm not saying like your friend who's a Pisces is like that. Mostly what we end up seeing in people with a strong Pisces archetype is why they are like what they're like, is because they don't really have a sense of separation. It's like when somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm amused and I'm like, wow, this is probably, you know what I mean? At my instant, it's like not even a concept in my mind. It's perfect. Look at how we're flowing and weaving through this thing. And, so the reason a lot of people who have Pisces as strong archetypes is because they have that unified field of consciousness, and you'll see them being totally whimsical, totally what seems to be irresponsible. They're living in the moment completely, making choices and doing things that just, it's like they're in their flow, and it can be very disruptive to what else everybody else is doing. Mentioning that disruption, Pisces is also a mutable sign, like Gemini, like Sagittarius, like Gemini, Sagittarius, immutable Earth, Virgo, which I call them the dissolution sign. So we've got Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Dissolution, that's Shiva, and it has to do with like dissolving the pattern that has been created in favor of universal flow. And what is this universal flow? We can't be mad at the pattern needed. It always is going to need to change. That's why we have these dissolution signs. So now we put Venus in Pisces, and we have this really, to me, it's really beautiful. This really beautiful receptivity to an all-inclusive reality, where the thing I'm seeing is like what everybody's so revved up about, like, oh, this is wrong and war is bad and whatever. Oh, there's so many things that people can get hyped up about, like this is wrong, this is bad, this shouldn't be happening. With Venus going into Pisces, there's this like, it's like the cerebral spinal fluid keeps going. There's no restriction in that. And there is a huge yes. The body says yes. There's a huge yes to the things that I am opposed to are in fact happening. My physical body, my cerebral spinal fluid, my emotional currency is still in a yes. So when Pisces, the other thing I wanted to just briefly talk about why, and I never use this language of the Greco-Roman astrology makes me want to vomit. And so anybody who's been following Mystic Source School or the channel for the amount of time we've been doing this, you never will hear me say, oh, well, Venus is ruled by so-and-so, or the in detriment or in fall. And the reason I don't talk like that is because I have helped so many people who have been damaged by an astrologer for telling them they had a poorly placed Venus. Your love life is going to be cursed and it's going to be hard, and because you have Venus with Saturn, and Saturn is the benefic, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing that in 2022. We're not doing that. Everything in the sky is meant to work. And yes, I am very, very Pisces. So that, take it or leave it. That may or may not be something that you agree with. That is, as Gemini Brett puts it, he says, this is my astrology. So just like any interpretive work, I'm going to read it and I am going to see things that somebody else will see completely different. So Venus, they say, is elevated, exalted in Pisces. And the reason they say that is because of what I had mentioned with Venus being at Pisces being at the end of winter. We're just finishing the darkest of the dark. And Venus, Pisces, picks the light, so to speak, because it was dark. Then we have spring equinox coming up right as this. We actually, yeah. So during Pisces season, we're going to be moving into spring. And this year, we were still in the Pisces lunation when, so the moon was still in Pisces when we had spring equinox. So, and what about the exaltation? Well, because during this time of the year, things start to pop again. We start to see flowers blooming on trees. We start to notice there's more this vibrancy of spring happening, which is like Taurus. Springtime is just like Taurus, which is just like Venus. Venus has to do with the pleasure and luxury and abundance of Earth's natural beauty, Earth's natural resources. So that's where we get the exaltation of Venus. And every sign has a place it's exalted and a sign that it's in detriment. So looking at that, Venus in Pisces, basically it's like a good bad. Venus in Pisces, good. It is resonant with the season and with the time, what Venus represents, and with the season that we're in. I'm so distracted right now by this puppy. Okay, so here's the shoe. We lost the other one on our trip to Utah, so we've let puppy chew on this shoe. Somebody ask a question. If you have any questions. Oh, somebody asked me a question in the Telegram group about he has Venus, his personal Venus is in oh, hey, Justin, there you are. Cool. That I was just getting ready to talk about you. That's me. I love you, bro. So that I think you said Venus and Mercury were in Pisces. And so this will be helpful for anybody who has planets in Pisces. What you're going to notice is going to be based off what house that's in for you. And what planets are there. So let me just imagine. I can't exactly remember your chart off the top of my head right now, but let's imagine there's your natal Venus and it's aspected by Chiron. Okay. And I feel like it is for some reason, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So imagine that whatever is aspected by, as Venus crosses over through Pisces, now for Justin, that is gonna, oh, hey, cool, Dustin, I'll do the moon next. So for Justin, Venus is going to be passing by his natal Venus. And so what you're going to want to do is look at where that's aspected. So say it's aspected to Chiron. This Venus transit activates your entire complex. The entire complex means that your Venus is never just Venus. It's Venus square to Chiron. So this is like a net level up, like a next layer to what you want to be looking at. Talk to me later if you want to look at that more specifically. Just looking at Venus in the sky passing your natal Venus, my first thing that I think about is like, oh, are you in a Venus return? But I know for a fact that you're not, because our birthdays are around the same time. And Venus returns every 8 years. So even if Venus is passing your natal Venus, if you're not in a 8-year birthday, 8, 16, 24, 32, blah, 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 then it's just a transit to your natal Venus. Okay, the fun thing is that as Venus transits parts of our chart, it's like Venus bringing gifts of a Venusian quality, regardless of how we ourselves are able to embody our Venus. When I say that, what I see over here is like, yes, Venus is bringing a gift to you. Venus transiting brings Venusian gifts. Will you see it though? And if you don't have an embodied experience, meaning that if you have projected Venus onto women, girlfriend, cousin, sister, if you've projected Venus, even if you've projected Venus onto puppy or whatever else gives you pleasure, the gifts that that Venus brings may go unnoticed because you haven't really enlivened your own Venus, meaning that what you value and what you love in another, you want to write those things down. Definitely, if Venus is transiting major planets for you, definitely you want to get clear on your Venus material for yourself so that you can make sure that as Venus is transiting, you're able to recognize what is me, what is other, where have I given my Venus power of receptivity to somewhere else. And then I've got so much homework on this topic. I mean, I wrote a whole book. I have so much homework on this topic and a lot of really fun exercises to do to inhale that energy back in. And you don't have to go into all these tantric yoga, pranayama breathing exercises. I do, and I find it helpful. And you can just say to yourself right now, I am inhaling my Venus energy. It can literally be like breathing it in from wherever you've projected it. And what I'm seeing is like women who you've loved before, beautiful women, beautiful, even if it's like I'm seeing grapes, but I know that's part of my Venus association. Things that you love and that make you get that feeling of like, where your shoulders just melt and your jaw just relaxes and there's maybe a little salivation comes because you just feel so good. Whatever has given you that feeling in the past, remember that feeling was alive in you. It was experienced from within you, the sky of your awareness and the stars in your body that you call cells, that you had that experience. And whatever that person, the grapes, the beautiful woman, the beautiful man, whatever it was, that triggered that for you, just right now, I'm breathing back in my Venus. I don't know how you might want to say that. My Venus energy, I'm breathing back in my sovereignty to pleasure. Ooh, pleasure sovereignty. So I'm breathing back in my pleasure sovereignty. How late am I? Yeah, you're still on. Oh, it's just not too late. Don't worry. And plus you can watch the replay in a little bit. Get your questions ready. So right now we're just inhaling our pleasure sovereignty. So recognizing that those experiences that you had with those people that gave you that Venusian shoulders relaxed, the jaw relaxed, and whatever gave you that feeling in the past, inhaling your power of receptivity back from that time, place, situation, that person. Okay, so now Venus passing by your Venus, I think it's from everything that I've read and from what I have experienced, not just Venus in Pisces, but Venus through any sign. When Venus transits one of your personal planets, it usually has something to do with being able to receive something beautiful. In what form that comes in, we will find out. Oh, that's juicy. That just gave me chills. Good. Good. Yes. So, okay. Don't have it too much in your head too, like expecting something beautiful to come. But it's likely and it is a possibility, and it may even be something completely unexpected, like a moment of realizing the thing you love most is something that you completely have 100% access to all the time, and that you're never separated from your pleasure. Your pleasure is within your physical body. So during this Venus transit, going over your natal Venus, going over your natal Mercury, this is like, and for Mercury, what I see is Venus dropping in new ways of being able to perceive with all your senses pleasurable experiences. This is so closely related to how we create things that we personally value. So when we're really able to receive, to be receptive to pleasure, beauty, abundance, this really gives our inner Mars the clear. Okay, so our inner Mars needs to have a clearly defined, what do I need to do to get this juicy, wonderful pleasure? And Mars needs to know that. So when we get these gifts from Venus, it's like we know it and we feel it and it feels so good and our nervous system is very relaxed. And then Mars is able to go out there and keep like continuing to do the things that bring that state of relaxation in the body. I'm open to all things good and beautiful, just time traveling and breathing it back in. Perfect. I promise you that this breathing it back in practice will really make a difference, because there's also this teaching that I received from Tantra Yoga, which is saying that the love that we experience in others originates within our own being. So, you've never experienced love and pleasure in the past or in the future. You only experience pleasure in this moment. There's only now. So there really is a lot of power to, getting really clear on where is that pleasure coming from. This reminds me of a lot of the kidney functions and our yin energy, how we often will use our regenerative functions to waste a lot of that fluid. And the wasting of that fluid leads to deficiency and depletion of our internal waters. So Venus has a huge association with the Svadhisthana chakra, which is in our pelvic bowl. In Tantra Yoga, there is this section in our pelvic bowl called the Khanda, which is the root. And this is where our life force energy resides for the most part. This is our regenerative functions, the ability to create life. And Venus has a strong resonance with that area of our body. So it makes sense that when we're depleting our internal fluids, that we cannot regenerate our own physical bodies. We cannot regenerate life. So really checking in with also your regenerative fluids while we're experiencing this Venus through Pisces transit. Okay, so somebody had mentioned, okay, there you have your moon in Pisces. So Venus moon is amazing. Dustin, if you're still here, Venus and the moon together are really, if you look at astrology from the Greco-Roman, which is not my main resource, I incorporate a lot of other traditions that use those same archetypes but call them something different. So it's really more of the archetypal pattern. But if you look at the Greco-Roman version of the archetypes, the only feminine, or feminine, I would say, planets are the moon and Venus, and every other planet has we call them he. So there is a reason for that, and it does make sense, although it's not completely accurate in my reality bubble. And it also feeds a lot into the patriarchal system of domination and control, and this masculinity being like the push for us to go and work harder and make more things and build more stuff, and dog eat dog world. And I might be saying that because my dog is chewing my finger. But so Venus transiting your natal moon, this is very likely to bring, I'm not going to tell like some prediction or something like that, but what I see is bringing those Venus gifts of pleasure, love, abundance. It could even be Venus's form of woman. It doesn't always mean that, but it can often mean that there, a Venus figure. It could be a feminine person, a feminine creature, inanimate objects that come into your life that are Venusian. Also, money comes to mind, but it's more so what you value. Dropping those gifts to your moon. Your moon means your matrilineal line, your ancestors, I'm like, okay, that the sum total of your moods, which has a lot to do with your outlook on life, because of that set point. You have a Pisces moon. I want to celebrate that. For a man having a Pisces moon, Kanye West has a Pisces moon, and how that kind of goes. It's like you do have a strong connection to the watery realms of emotional currency, your dreams, a certain sensitivity to others. It's an empathy. It's an empathy meaning the ability to attune yourself to another person and feel what they're feeling by resonance. And then that's like baby empath. But then the like adult empath is able to attune to that other person while staying in your own home frequency. Baby empath attunes to others and is able to experience the emotion or feeling that other person or being or place that you're standing in. You're able to pick up on the energy of that. And the masterful empath is able to stay in their frequency, in their home vibration, and attune to that other place, that body that your hands are on, or whatever it is. You're able to stay here while tuning into them, and then coming completely back to your own frequency. And you're not taking any of their reality or their energy or whatever it is with you when you leave. So that is something that very well, having a Pisces moon, and then Venus coming by, dropping gifts of pleasure, love, abundance, beauty, sensuality. So possibly an ability to receive more pleasure, to receive more of the good things in life. One of my teachers used to say about Venus, earthly delights. And I really like that phrase, being able to receive the earthly delights. He's like 80. So and he's been doing astrology his whole life, essentially. So being able to receive the earthly delights. Anybody else? Hey, tailored to you astrology. Pisces moon people need to detox once they return home, since they absorb so much energy when they are outside, like a spiritual bath. Yes. That I can see that for sure. Yes. My Pisces, I have 5 planets in Pisces. So, yep, that is Venus in Taurus. Is that, oh, I think I might have missed some message. I gotta go back and read those. Um, my Pisces thing that I've come to realize at this point in my life is that you really got to be the one to set the tone so that you are emitting energy rather than sitting there absorbing all of that energy. And also a shamanic practitioner that I worked with for 2 years taught me this invaluable technique of building a dial in my belly where it's imaginary, it's in the shamanic realms, where I would turn it to 10 if I'm doing a reading or if I'm doing body work or something like that, so I can really open up to receiving the information from that person's body. And then when I go out to the farmer's market or I'm out in public or whatever, or with a lover, that I don't need to be at a 10. If I'm at the grocery store, I can just turn that down to 0 so that I am not absorbing all of that energy and more so able to emit. All right, let's see. Okay, good. Love the breathing practice. There is only now. Glad to catch you. I'm glad that you're here. I am so happy you're here. Eric, Capricorn, Virgo Sun, Capricorn Moon, Scorpio Rising. Kanye and Kim. Kim has a Pisces moon too. Oh my goodness. I cannot imagine 2 Pisces anythings coming together. Really. I mean, oh. Okay. Okay, my south node is in Pisces at 29 degrees. My south node is in Pisces. I feel connected. Wow, we have our south node quite close to each other, Jen. I feel connected to all these concepts, but that's impact differently than the moon placement. So you know what is so interesting? That the south node, it is different than the moon in that the south node on our chart is going to tell us more about our karmic conditioning, our karmic patterns, you may say. I think of the south node as our DNA, like the coded information in our DNA, those things about us that we do, that, you know, it's like, oh, I never saw my dad until I was an adult, but I made this certain facial feature that my dad made. Or I had this thing that I said that my dad used to say, that it's like, it's so deep. The south node is so deep. It also tells about your past. You might say past lives. Some people say south node is the past lives, the past tribe that you come from, the ancestors that you come from. Where the moon is, see, the south node is the lunar node. It is that ecliptic plane between sun and moon. And so there are some similarities there. So as Venus is transiting your south node, oh, you know what? Let's not forget about Venus also having to do with oversense, taking in too much with the senses. This could be also a time where we get into that Pisces love of liquor, the Pisces love of mind-altering substances, the Pisces love for ecstasy or ecstatic states. So I always think about Dionysus and that, you know, just all this pleasure and ecstasy in groups possibly, or, you know, when you do cacao ceremony and you have this like heart-opening experience. And then just imagine if you like just kept doing it all day, every day for 30 days or something like that. Like there is with Venus a tendency toward, it's a possibility to have a tendency toward wanting more ecstasy than the body can actually handle. and be healthy. So also want to keep that in mind as we're looking at Venus transiting your south node, because it's transiting my south node also. It could also be like get us into that an old habit that we thought we broke, or that, do you ever really break a habit? I mean, I think yes, because there's some habits that I've had that I have completely broken. But when Venus is transiting that south node, to be able to notice where we feel like I just want to, whatever it is for you with the south node in Pisces, and then be able to choose. So it'll come up and then you be able to choose. My dog is a Sagittarius. I don't know what the moon sign is, but his sun is in Sagittarius, and his name, Dakota, means friend to everybody. He really is just like a full Sag. I'm sure you are a real energy antenna. Yes. Okay, my Pisces is in Jupiter. My Pisces. Okay, so what you're saying is you have Jupiter in Pisces. So Venus will be transiting your Jupiter. That is a lot this month, because Venus is going to make an exact conjunction with Neptune on April 27th, and Jupiter is going to be only 3 degrees away from that exact conjunction. Sorry about all these faces. I could never be one of those people who types in a courtroom, because my face is just like what the, these guys are having a full-on party out here. Oh my goodness. So I wish I could pause this video. Hold on a sec. Dominic, please come get puppy. It's getting too loud. Will you get one of these guys? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, party's over. Sorry if that ruins this for anybody. Okay, so you have your Jupiter in Pisces, and Pisces is going to be transiting your natal Jupiter. You might be in a Jupiter return. You are in a Jupiter return. So Jupiter returns to its placement every 12 years. So if you have Jupiter in Pisces, this is a Jupiter year for you, which is meant to be, Jupiter has to do with generosity, this enlightenment. And in Vedic astrology, it's known as the guru. So it is that wisdom teacher. You may meet the greatest mentor this year, somebody who is able to help you reach a new level of enlightenment, meaning like you lighting your own lamp and being able to illuminate your own sky of awareness. That's what a guru in India, that's what the guru is meant to do, to be the one who helps you learn to light your own lamp. So that's Jupiter bringing this generosity of wisdom. That's Saraswati, the goddess. Saraswati is seen with a swan and a veena, which is a beautiful instrument in India. So it is an abundance of blessings. I'm thinking more like the wisdom blessings. When you know something that is able to shift your entire reality, that happens when we have Jupiter return, which you're having that this year. I have property in Lake Matthews, Southern California, and intend on helping earth angels grow, heal, and feel safe. 2 acres, 7 dogs. Oh my God. This is the Pisces moon person. I love you, Dustin. You are such a sweetheart. 9 ducks ready to help. Good water, food, and healthy. Wonderful. This is a Pisces moon done right. And not that there's a wrong, but this is beautiful. South node, past life energy. Yes, absolutely. Earth guardian. Okay. Venus in Pisces is great, but it can be self-sacrificing. Okay. I'm reading a book on the Eleusinian mysteries and the priestess of Demeter. Wonderful. Love the puppy energy. Dakota is very Sag. But I should look at his chart and see where the moon was that day. She is meeting you. You are, what are your Pisces placements? Oh, for me, Pisces placements. Well, Venus is going to be first hitting Ceres, and then going to hit my Mars at 6 degrees, and then going to hit my Vesta at about 11 degrees, which is opposite my natal Saturn. And then this Pisces, Venus going through Pisces is going to hit my South Node, going to hit my Sun, and going to hit Juno. Something like that. Oh, it feels like a lot already. Okay, so also Jupiter. So when you have Venus transiting your natal Jupiter, the other thing is Jupiter is an expansive transit. So as you come into your Jupiter return, which will be exact, and I'll ask you, I'll look at your chart in a little while on our Telegram messages, and I'll tell you like what is the exact degree your Jupiter is. And then when Venus is coming by, more importantly, when Jupiter is coming by, you'll have your Jupiter return will be exact, and it is meant to be expansive and to have a sense of evolving, bringing you to your next, like, it looks to me like when you have a celebration and something like pops. So sometimes your reality bubble can pop with Jupiter and Pisces, meaning that you break through the limitations of where with Pisces there's not so much limitations, because of the fact that it is the whole sea of consciousness. So your Jupiter in Pisces, I feel like this because in that old version of astrology that I don't like to use the words, which I don't know why I am today, but they would, how does this go? The rulership, they would say that Jupiter is ruled by Pisces. I don't like that because I'm like, oh my God, do you really think that Jupiter is ruling something? It's not like that. But it's a benefactor. It is something that expands. And if you have something that you don't want to expand, it will still be expanded, and that can be challenging. So just keeping that in mind. I'm so looking forward to this blessing. Oh, me too. Everybody really needs to have a mentor, somebody that can keep them on track. And I had a mentor for 2 years that it really changed my entire life. I actually sent somebody that we know to my mentor recently. So if you want to get put on, she's like 66, something like that. She's an older lady, so she's already let go of all of her weird like competition things that women can have with each other. She's really, really psychic, really, really solid integrity, will never do any weird things like a lot of psychic people. You have to be careful. Like if they're lacking integrity, most every single one of my mentors, and when I studied shamanism from Hawaii, when I studied just everybody I've studied with, the day one, first thing they told me, always get consent. Always get consent. You do not go poking into people's energy, even if you're just sending Reiki, even if you're just sending good vibes. You don't do that without first getting consent. So once you let somebody into your energy field and they don't have good boundaries and they don't have integrity, that can be a mess. And it could take a long time to get out of such messes. So this lady who mentored me, completely solid on that, which is really, really important. Integrity is really underrated these days. Definitely. I was just talking with an elder today about that, and we were just like, the younger, like we're old in our way of thinking. And the younger generation doesn't have such a strong connection to what is integrity and how do I stay in it for myself in relation to others. Okay. So, oh, there was something else. Venus and Pisces, self-sacrificing. That's what I wanted to talk about. So, the self-sacrificing. Okay, so Venus is our power of receptivity. So that place where we get into, like, last time we talked about Venus on this channel, I mentioned if you're going in for a kiss and the other person is also going in for a kiss at the same time, that we're going to break each other's teeth. That somebody has to recede. Somebody has to do this and relax their jaw and be open to receiving that kiss. We can't both go for it. So the power of Venus is in that receptivity and being able to, like, exhale. So I can see Venus in Pisces being so receptive and so in that dreamy, whimsical place of just wanting ecstasy, that there could be a tendency, if their Mars and their Saturn are not active, because we all need to have these archetypes doing their role. It's like in the physical body, if I'm working on somebody's subscapularis, which is that underneath your scapula, and all the muscles in the traps, everybody's trying to do this. So all the muscles are up here doing this and nobody's down here doing what subscapularis is supposed to be doing. In this analogy, subscapularis would be, say, Mars, and it's all Venus. Then there's going to be pain and suffering. So we need everybody to do their part. Saturn is going to be keeping the tradition, what I call my own rules. I call it my addendum to the government laws and rules. This is my Saturn. So I have a set of my own guidelines for being in integrity to myself. What is my 5-year plan, my 10-year plan? You know, that's my Saturn. Mars is the enforcer. Mars is the one who protects the boundaries, makes sure that shit is straight, and is ready to bark if something is astray. Venus is the code, what I've been calling the Venus gemstone, which is coded with the information about what I believe I am worth, my values. So this is Venus, that beautiful gemstone inside of, and in my body, I feel it just right in my sternum between my breasts. And there's information there that says what I believe that I am worth and what I value. And so now all these other archetypes in me are working based off of that tone that my Venus archetype has set. So if you are in a male body, and because of our culture, you may be more in your Mars. So the Mars part of you is more like, you might be the one who goes for the kiss. And then in that case, being with somebody who is more likely to be in that receptive Venusian state, that's a good match. And you also still need to have your own personal code for what you value, what it is that you're attracted to, what you desire, so that your archetypes can go out and do the things that they need to do. So I can see, especially if somebody has their Venus in Pisces. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I really want to go. I'm going to have to go off. So while Venus is transiting Pisces, there could be a tendency to get so much into this like receptive, almost like a psychedelic state. That's what I just saw, where you just kind of, everything just blends and merges into this beautiful rainbow of existence that is like psychedelic bleeding together of all things to create this beautiful like DNA spiral rainbow. And we could have a tendency during Venus and Pisces to really, really dissolve our previous boundaries. This can also be an opportunity, though, to dissolve those codes that say what I'm worth and what I value. Because Pisces is what I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, the ending. It's the dark. It's that where the light wins, where the light wins. So Pisces having that one fish in the winter and this other fish being in spring, you could say 1 foot in the underworld, 1 foot in the upper world, and having that polarity. And that this could be an opportunity for us to go ahead and dissolve, just like any planet that gets to Pisces is carrying all the information from the previous cycles, the previous seasons of the zodiacal year. And it is an opportunity to new moon it, meaning that this is the menstruation phase. And for Venus, this is that phase of a real release and getting ready for Venus to go into Aries, where it has its resurrection. Oh my God, I can't even wait. I'm already gonna start the paper now called The Resurrection of Venus. This is gonna be wonderful. Okay, that is so true. We have a lot of responsibilities. Trust and integrity is key. Plus, respect the elders. This little kid, he didn't yell at me, but never mind. I'm not going to bring that up. I just was like, okay, at 9 years old, I would never have talked to an adult the way this little kid just talked to me. And I was just like, we're at the park. So I was thinking, like, should I go talk to your mom right now? I was so flabbergasted. Yes, please continue to teach kids to respect elders. Laughed out loud. I wonder what you laughed out loud about. Who knows? Tell me. I would love to get more info on her. Wonderful. Her name is Denise D, and she is legit. Hopefully this. And she does a lot of work for free. She's got you get on her mailing list. She goes there. She is not too much in the dark, but she really does work on the Pluto topics. What are you afraid of? What are you not bringing out? She tells a lot of stories. She's got, I love it. I love it. She sends it first thing in the morning too. She lives in LA, or maybe she's in San Francisco now, but so it comes first thing in the morning. So you wake up and you're still kind of in a dream state. She does a lot of calls. It's old school. You like call in to join the call. And she does a lot of work with energy work. And it's just so, so good. And then to work with her one-on-one, it is a commitment. It was not expensive though. I mean, I could do it. And at that point, because do you know, this is not a Denise D sales call, but that I worked with her 2014, 2015. That's when I had just started reading astrology professionally. When I got done working with her, my income went up 10 grand every single year after that. Whereas before, it had just finally reached the point of my last job that I got a W-2 for, which was in 2006 when I was in the Navy. I had been working for myself since then, no W-2s. And it took me a long time, 2006 all the way up until like 2014, before I made it to the level of being, that same income. But It was worth it. I think I might have paid like $200 a month to work with her, something like that. And it changed my life 100%. What is your ascendant? I have Taurus rising. Earth Guardian. Wow, so well explained. To kiss and being Mars. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because you probably have done it before. Somebody goes to kiss you and you like crash into each other's face. Maybe. Let's go, Doc. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was amazing. Thank you all so, so much. I'll be on again very, very soon talking about some more Pisces topics. And please come again and let's do this again. Thank you so much.